It's Sunday afternoon in Richmond, Indiana, and 28-year-old Niqui McCown is checking off her to-do list before her wedding. One errand includes a trip to the neighboring town of Dayton, Ohio, to pick up beauty supplies. Her fiancé, Bobby Webster, met the woman he was about to marry in high school.
I used to play basketball, and all the girls, I'd impress them, and I finally got a conversation with her and asked her out on a date.
But after high school, Bobby and Niqui broke up and went their separate ways. Niqui moved on to date a local Richmond man named Stephen Johnston. The couple soon had a daughter together named Peyton.
If I was smarter, she'd still be here and we'd still be together.
Their relationship was filled with turmoil.
I wasn't good to her. I wasn't at all. I cheated, I was abusive.
And Niqui never forgot her first love, Bobby. The feeling was mutual when the two reconnected a few years later.
We were together for about 3.5 years before I moved to California, and then I came back. We got back together the minute I got back, it seemed, from California, and it went on from there.
And soon they'd be married. Niqui was all smiles when she stopped by her sister's house.
She did her laundry every Sunday right down the street from my house. She would have just been sitting at my house waiting for her laundry to get done. We just hung out. That's what we did.
But on the day Niqui went missing, she mentioned something suspicious.
She said they just won't leave me alone.
Niqui tells her family she's getting harassed by men at the laundromat.
She said, just go get your laundry and come bring it back here. You can dry it here.
Niqui tells her family she'll be back and heads to the laundromat to grab her clothes.
It's assumed that she was over at a friend's, just, chatting away about the wedding.
But an hour passes and Niqui is a no-show at her sister's house. Bobby hasn't heard from her either.
And as time kept ticking, I started getting a little worried.
Then a major red flag. Niqui fails to pick up her 9-year-old daughter.
Her grandmother called me and said, "Hey, would you come and get paid?" I'm like, "Sure, what's going on?" And they told me then.
Then panic sets in.
We started making a lot of calls. We started calling a lot of hospitals.
At that point, we went down and we got the papers to report her missing. They told us it was too soon, because at that point, I guess you had to wait 72 hours before you could report somebody as an adult missing. And for that reason is because they are allowed to make a decision just to come and go as they want.
But Monday morning rolls around and Niqui misses her shift at the correctional facility where she works.
I started crying and I knew something was wrong because she loved her job.
Cops start a missing persons investigation. Detectives first look into the incident involving 2 men who were allegedly harassing Niqui at the laundromat.
There were reports that there were 2 subjects that were kind of giving her a hard time, whether it be flirting and, things along that line.
But nothing comes from the lead. Police turn their attention to surveillance video from the convenience store across from the laundromat. These are the last known images of Niqui just before she vanished. While police conduct their investigation, Niqui's family grows suspicious of her fiancé, Bobby.
He canceled the wedding hall, got a refund for that. He had tried to return the ring to get a refund for that, had looked into her schooling, money for school to get a refund.
Police asked Bobby to take a lie detector test.
It showed deception according to the polygraph examiner.
Police consider Bobby a person of interest.
His behavior was erratic, but as in physical evidence, there's no evidence.
But police have no proof Bobby is responsible for Niqui's disappearance. And Bobby denies wrongdoing, saying he needed quick cash for a cell phone to stay in contact with people involved in the search.
Sell back the ring. It was only a deposit on the ring. It was a layaway. How I sell back a layaway?
Then, 3.5 months after Niqui vanishes, cops find her car, taking the investigation in a completely new direction. Bride-to-be Niqui McCown vanishes at a laundromat in Richmond, Indiana. 3.5 months later, her car is discovered in the parking lot of an apartment complex in Dayton, Ohio.
Well, I was completely floored because I was excited that it was found, because now I'm thinking, wow, now we can find out something that's happened in here.
And when cops search the car, they find her laundry.
Her laundry was still in the vehicle, folded in the baskets.
Police wonder if Niqui drove there to perhaps see someone she knew. Turns out her ex-boyfriend lives there.
Absolutely, you're going to talk to him.
Richmond police contact Niqui's ex and the father of her only child, Stephen Johnston. Stephen says he has nothing to hide and cooperates.
I detector test, gave my DNA, whatever they needed. I would have gave it to them the very next day. All they had to do was ask.
We talked to him. He did a polygraph, and he passed the polygraph.
Investigators send Niqui's car to the state crime lab for testing.
The vehicle was processed for DNA, for blood, for fingerprints, but we didn't find anything.
But they soon discover the car was also parked near another apartment complex where a friend of Niqui's lives. His name, Tommy Swint.
The person that she could have been involved with.
Turns out Tommy and Niqui both worked together at the same correctional facility in Dayton, Ohio.
In speaking with family and friends, it was found that they believed that he had somewhat of an obsession with her.
But Tommy has little interest in talking to cops.
He was not completely cooperative. There was something odd about him, never quite cooperative, wouldn't answer questions completely or would go off subject.
The leads go cold and 6 long years pass.
Not knowing is killing us.
Then suddenly, the case heats up when Richmond police get a tip. Tommy Swint is no longer working at the correctional facility. He's now a cop.
Astounded, in disbelief.
He's working the next town over in Trotwood, Ohio.
So we asked them, did Tommy disclose the fact that he is a major person of interest in our Niqui McCown missing person investigation? And they said he didn't.
Tommy resigns, but then sues the city of Richmond, claiming he wasn't told that he was a person of interest in Niqui's disappearance. Richmond police fire back, claiming investigators did tell Tommy he was a person of interest, and Tommy's lawsuit is dismissed. The case is big news in the area, leading to a stunning development. Someone recognizes Tommy and gives police in neighboring Dayton, Ohio, an anonymous tip.
Somebody called in to give us information in regards to looking at him as a possible suspect in Tina Ivory's case.
33-year-old Tina Ivory lived in Dayton, Ohio, but in 1991, she went missing.
She was actually found off the side of a road, thrown like trash in a trash pile.
While police were able to build a suspect's DNA profile from blood and semen stains on the blanket used to cover Tina's body, investigators were missing one key thing.
A suspect to match it to.
Turns out Tommy had given Richmond police a DNA sample.
And then Richmond in turn gave it to us. He did not know that he was under the radar for Tina's homicide. The blood DNA that was on the blanket matched Tommy Swint, as well as 2 semen spots that were on the jacket of Tina Ivory that was inside the body bag that was used actually came back to Tommy Swint.
Forensic teams also pull a fingerprint from the tape used to bind Tina's body. Police track down Tommy, who is now working as a security guard and living in Alabama with a warrant to obtain his fingerprints.
We got him in his vehicle while he was going to work.
The fingerprints are a match.
We definitely knew we had our guy.
I'm asking you, did you kill her? Okay,
I don't
if
even
I'm
know.
telling you that we have evidence that says that you did, what do you have to say to that?
And all due respect, and I understand what your job is, but I'm gonna have to bring this to a close.
Tommy is free to go for now. Back in Richmond, Indiana, police get word that Tommy is about to be indicted in Dayton for Tina Ivory's murder.
And we believe that through interviewing him in connection with that homicide, that we were going to be able to obtain information to figure out, where Niqui was and what had happened to her.
3 police agencies in Indiana, Ohio, and Alabama are ready to move in and take down a killer.
Well, at that point, we contacted Alabama as soon as the indictment came out to go out and arrest him and pick him up. And when they did, and they approached the house, they heard a gunshot. and Tommy actually took his life.
While it may have ended the murder investigation, Niqui's family is left with many unanswered questions.
All I wanted out of all of this is Peyton to have a mother and me to have a wife.
Her daughter Peyton, who was 9 at the time her mother vanished, has grown up and is a mom herself.
I think that everything happens for a reason. So I think when the time's right and when it's ready to come out, it will.
You know, I blame myself for it. Because if I had treated her mother better, her mother would still be here.